Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another video. Now, if you saw the last video, you'll remember I said I was going to get back down this small river as it was dropping beautifully. I was going to try and get down the following day and have another go. I didn't manage it. It's now 3 days later, it's Sunday. And this place is clear enough for a bit of trotting. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. It's gone 8 o'clock now. And I only have till 10:30. Strict curfew today. 10:30. I've got to be out of here. So we've got 2.5 hours, 2.25 hours, something like that, to have a little go. So I bought the trotting gear. Very, very simple today. I've got very little gear with me. Got some mashed bread and some bread, and that's your lot. I've mashed this up nice and stodgy, so it breaks up in the water. I don't particularly want it to get into the bottom this time, so there is different ways of mashing it up. And as I say, this is very soggy. If you want to know how I do it, I'll stick you a link up there. I'll show how I get different consistencies when I'm mixing up my mashed bread. Cheap stuff for mashing up, I just use the Neville stuff from Tesco. I think it's 40 or 50p a loaf, something like that. And you want something like Warburton's, the orange or the blue, it's fine. For the hook, it's nice and doughy, stays on the hook much better. Now, being Sunday, I thought there might be some other anglers here, but there's no one here, which is great. I think I might fish 1 or 2 swims, something like that. I just nipped down, well, on the way up, I baited up an area, a bit of slack. And then we'll go down there perhaps in a minute, or half an hour or an hour, just depending how good it is in here. But this is a nice run through here. We had a tiny little chub out of here the other day when we were here. It's a nice run down, so I thought I'd give it another go. A nice bit of cover out there in front of us as well, which we can perhaps run the float past. As far as gear goes, I've got my usual trotting stuff. Got my Dower Tournament Pro 15-foot rod, 125M closed face reel. I'll stick a link to, or details of everything down there, and a link to how I set this up and up there. But if you want to go and have a look how I set it up, and a Drake alloy stem stick float. Simple as that. Right, we haven't got long, so I'm going to get this put together. We'll have a crack. Looking forward to this. I'm not sure exactly how deep it is in here. We did have a little bit of a ledger the other day. If you didn't see that video, it's the previous one to this. But basically we came in at a bit of a ledger, so I've got a bit of an idea from how long the sort of bait took to drop, or the feeder took to drop in the last video. I think it's probably about 3 or 4 foot deep, so we'll set at that and see how we get on. I'll keep this mash going in. Just little and often. I've got any hook bait out. Hopefully we can winkle a few chub out before we've got to go home. I got here pretty much as early as I could, whilst being able to see the float. I could have perhaps got here about 10 minutes earlier, but not much more than that. It's a bit blowy as well, but we're down a bit here. The banks are quite high, so we'll be all right, I think. Take off the worst of the wind. And that's running through okay at that depth. Just a nice steady run through there. That's lovely. It'd be nice to run it down to that cover you can see down there, but I think we're going to lose fish on the inside if we do that. I think running down just to that cover is probably about all... Oh, squeaky reel handle. Probably about all we can do, really. That's annoying. I need to get the grease out. Lovely colour, this river. It sort of floods up and goes brown. Then as it drops, it sort of goes through a sort of greyish colour. And it usually runs at sort of greenish colour. It'd be nice if we can have a few chub on the float, though. There's a possibility. Nice roach as well. There's some roach over £1 in this river. Chance of some of those as well. We'll just feel our way. That's float's popped up there, which tells me we're on the bottom. Yeah, that's just dragging along the bottom, that is. So we found the depth by the looks of it. Keep dribbling this mash in. Try Try and get some interest. Sure there'll be some fish tucked in here. We'll just try and lure them out. It's nice as well, we're trotting off the rod tip so we can hold the float back. Just let it go through relatively slowly. There's still not a great deal of clarity in here. There's perhaps a good foot, just over a foot. So it's not like it's crystal clear. And obviously, when you're trotting, the fish have got to be able to see the bait to grab it. So it's not perfect, but it's clear enough to give the fish enough confidence to come out. I think that's the best way to put it. Enough confidence to be out in the river whilst still being able to see the bait as it's coming, as long as it's within about 18 inches of their noses. We'll give it half an hour in here anyway. So, I extended my landing net. We'll give it half an hour or so in here before we think about a move. So we're just about deep enough to run it down the main flow, but if it swings into the slightly slacker bit on the inside, we're just catching bottom. Hence me shallowing up a little bit. Now I don't want to go too mad on this feed, because there's not going to be a big shoulder chub down there, I wouldn't think. You know, it's a tiny little river at the end of the day. I mean, I've got my 15-foot rod here. I can almost touch that tree on the other side. God, this line's a bit sticky this morning. I think I've got a bit too much on here. I need to take a little bit off. If you overload a closed face reel, the line tends to stick. See, now it's running off lovely. I think I've got about 5 or 10 metres too much on here. Right, that's just gone run down in that slack, lovely. I say slack, it's not completely slack. It's going a lot slower than the main flow. Still dragging bottom a little bit. There's probably tree roots down there. Yeah, I definitely got a bit too much line on it. If I had a bit longer, I'd strip a bit off. But we'll put up with it today. Alright, that a bite? It is. Look at that, right next to that cover, as you'd expect. Wonderful. Well, no monster, I don't think. But it's a start. Of course, trying to get me in all the cover. God, looks like he's been chewed. Well, there we go. First one of the day. He's had a lucky escape by the looks of that side of him. This side's alright. But yeah, looks like he's had a lucky escape from perhaps an otter. Right. First of the day. Always the hardest one. Right, we'll get him down there. Lovely place to rest him up there. That's cracking. Absolutely wonderful. First of many, hopefully. Got an absolute mag's full of bread as well. I don't know if you can see down there where that branch is sticking out in the water. Sort of sticking up. It's right next to that. I really should do this line. It's only going to get worse as it gets wetter. It'd be so nice to be able to run all the way down there. And I can run all the way down there. Just if we catch anything, we're going to be stuck. There's no point fishing for fish that you're not going to land. You probably see we got this reed bed in front of us here, which is causing a bit of a slack in here. The flow is sort of from halfway to the other bank, the main bit of the flow. Just this nice bit of slack in here. We'll give it another sort of 15-20 minutes in here, I think, but quite often in this river, because it's so intimate, you're fishing just for one shoal of fish. You catch one, you spook them, and it can take, quite a while for them to settle down again, longer than I want to give it. It's not like I'm fishing a match and I'm stuck in a swim. Quite happy to have a move, so we'll give it a little bit longer, then we'll have a move. There's actually a swim just above here. Again, in the last video, we were getting a few knocks and taps and rattles in there, but we didn't have anything concrete. There's a little slack. It might be worth just dropping the float into there for a few minutes. If you didn't see the last video, I'm not very familiar with this stretch at all. It's all a bit new to me. I did fish it a couple of years ago. Once. On a very sunny day when it was very low. And I did struggle. Not surprisingly. But I got a bit of a feel for it the other day. Looking forward to getting down the Avon again. It's actually starting to drop, finally. It's been so high. Coloured. It's not been good for much, really, at all. Unless you want to go barbel fishing, but don't often go barbel fishing on the Avon. Don't mind a bit of sight fishing, but these days are a bit few and far between for me to sit around for hours and hours on end, hoping. Just tickling this through. Just keep holding it and letting it run, and holding it and letting it run. I think this morning it would probably been more productive to get on the ledger. I just fancied, with this river looking like this, just fancied doing a bit of trotting. Just this colour. Just looks absolutely cracking. Ideally for trotting, you'd have it crystal clear. The fish can see the bait a mile off. The problem with that is these little rivers, that they don't want to come out. They get under the cover and they don't want to come out. They're too scared. So you have to have a bit of colour in the water to give the fish confidence to come out. But that one was not far from being under that cover. Just then. It's just running right in the slack, that is. Which I don't want. There we go. Just got it to run just by that cover. They really are sitting right under that cover. This is a better fish. Just trundle it along. Just underneath that cover. God, he snagged us up, look. Got us in these weeds in the edge here. Come on. Let him swim out. There we go. Come on. This is why I can't trot down past that cover, because they're just going to They're just going to get straight in that cover and there's nothing I can do down there. There's a better fish. Come on. Got him. Wonderful. We've got him going now, haven't we? Although they're not coming out from under that cover, I'm having to go to them. Well, how's about that? Beautiful. Absolutely cracking fish. Wonderful. Nice deep-bodied fish as well. This is cracking. I'm loving this. Glad I came out. I was umming and ahhing because I hadn't got long. So have we got long to even get a swim going? Wasn't sure. But that's fantastic. Right, we'll just give it 5 minutes. I think we'll rest it for 5 minutes. I'll keep the feed going in. They're certainly hungry, these fish. They're both of those fish that I've had. Gullets full of bread. They're certainly on the feed. I've just got them down here and I've got this big deep guru specimen net. Fantastic for giving a fish a bit of room to rest up just for a few minutes. So if I put these fish back, we're not going to catch any more, that's for sure. They're very good at spooking all their mates. Right, can we do the hat trick? We know what to do now. We need to run it right up to that bit of cover. I'll give it about 5 minutes. Just feeding every sort of 30 seconds, just I don't know, walnut size bit of mashed bread. I say I don't want to fill them up, we just want to catch them. They certainly seem to be on the feed anyway. Gosh, wind's picking up. Blimey. Right, go on, Mr. Chub, see if we can do the hat trick. And most of the time that float, it wants to run through about a yard off that cover. I'm also trying to bring it back slowly and as gently as I can. Bread's still on there, let's see if we can run that down to that bit of cover. Slowly just trotting off the rod top. We'll just hold that back there. It's skirted round again. Well, right in line then, and the current just pushes it round. God, well, they said it was going to be windy today and tomorrow. And they were right. Proper windy. It's coming from sort of that way. So it's not the end of the world. We're a bit sheltered by this high bank. And really all it's doing is, if it does catch the line, is checking it upstream. Oh, I should sort this. I'm going to have to sort this out. It's doing my head in. I should sort this out today. Yeah, it's just checking the line, holding the float back a bit, which is perfect, really. Oh, I'm just going to steer that in a bit closer. Just let that flow bring it across. Both bites have been in exactly the same place, right near that cover. They're clearly sitting under there and just diving out to get some bread as it goes past. We'll hold that back again. Trouble is, holding it back is making it go a bit too far out in the flow. Just hold it back with my rod out there. Sort of counterintuitive, really. Right, we won't flog that swim. We'll get these two fellas back. We'll go for a bit of a wander. There we go. No, nothing doing. Right, that's it, we've got to go. There's no stringing it out for 25 last casts like I normally do. So as I say, I've got to go. Strict curfew today. I need to get home before 11 o'clock. So yeah, not been easy, but we've had a couple of chub out. And as I said, with hindsight, perhaps we should have stayed in that first swim where we were catching those chub, but who knows if we'd have caught another one. And I'll get itchy feet. I want to go for a bit of a roam. And we've done a few swims. We've done some slacks. We've done some nicer trotting swims, but some swims I've never fished before. Some swims I have fished before, like this one. And nothing doing. We've had 10 minutes in here, and it's probably, to be honest, probably long enough. If we're going to get a bite in here, we'd have had one in those 10 minutes. Anyway, I'm waffling. I've got to go. Now, I am hoping to get out on the Avon this week. It's dropping and it's clear, and it's no longer like oxtail soup. It's a bit more like builder's coffee, builder's tea, something along those lines. So it is clearing out, and this river runs into it, and this is clearing fast. So that will help the Avon as well. Hopefully, as I say, we'll be able to get out in the week. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling when you get out there. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your fantastic support, and I'll see you all again very soon.